The coffee cup slipped from Emma's hands, shattering against the tile. Floor in 1,000 glittering pieces, just like her carefully constructed world. 5 years. 5 years of pretending that part of her life never happened. Of building walls around her daughter's questions. Of serving lattes with a smile while her heart carried secrets too heavy to speak. And now he stood in her doorway, older but unmistakable. The man she'd loved with everything she had. The man who'd chosen his empire over their future. The man who didn't know he had a daughter. Marcus Chen hadn't planned to stop at this particular cafe. His driver had taken a wrong turn in downtown Portland. And something about the warm, light spilling onto the rain-soaked street called to him. After 16-hour days and boardroom battles, after building his tech company into a billion-dollar empire, he'd forgotten what simple things like a neighborhood coffee shop felt like. The bell above the door chimed as he entered, and that's when time stopped. Emma. Her name caught in his throat. She stood frozen behind the counter, her dark hair pulled back in a messy bun, an apron dusted with cocoa powder, her eyes wide with the same shock that paralyzed him. She was more beautiful than he remembered. Not the polished beauty she'd worn when they were together, but something deeper, earned through struggle and sacrifice. Marcus. His name fell from her lips like a prayer and a curse intertwined. Before either could speak another word, a small voice pierced the tension. "Mommy, can I have the cinnamon bear claw, please?" A little girl, no more than 4 years old, emerged from behind the counter, tugging on Emma's apron. She had Emma's delicate features and dark hair, but her eyes... Marcus felt his chest constrict. Those eyes were his mother's eyes, almond-shaped and honey-brown, the eyes that looked back at him every morning in the mirror. The child turned toward him, curious about the stranger who'd made her mother drop a cup. She tilted her head, studying him with an intensity that children have before. The world teaches them to look away. Then, with the innocent certainty that only a 4-year-old possesses, she pointed at him and said, "Daddy?" The word detonated in the small space like a bomb. Emma's face went white. Marcus grabbed the back of a chair to steady himself. The elderly couple in the corner looked up from their newspapers. Time fractured into before and after, before he knew, and after, when nothing would ever be the same. "Lily, sweetheart, go to the back and ask Uncle Ray for that bear claw, okay?" Emma's voice shook despite her attempt at normalcy. "But, Mommy..." "Now, Lily, please." The little girl, Lily, looked between them with confusion clouding her features. But she obeyed, disappearing through a doorway marked "Staff Only." The silence that followed was deafening. "When?" Marcus finally managed, his voice hoarse. "When were you going to tell me I have a daughter?" Emma's laugh was bitter, sharp enough to draw blood. "Tell you? You mean like I tried to tell you 5 years ago when you said you couldn't do this anymore? When you chose board meetings over breakfast, investors over us? When you made it crystal clear that nothing mattered more than building your empire?" "That's not fair, isn't it?" Tears streamed down her face now, years of held-back pain flooding out. "I came to your office, Marcus. The day after you ended things. I was 8 weeks pregnant, terrified, and so in love with you I couldn't see straight. Your assistant told me you'd left instructions. You weren't taking my calls. My emails, nothing. You blocked me out like I was a failed business venture." Marcus felt the ground shift beneath him. "I never knew. Emma, I swear I never knew. Would it have mattered?" Her question hung in the air, heavy and unanswerable. He wanted to say yes. He wanted to rewrite history, to go back and be the man she needed, the father his daughter deserved. But standing there in her cafe, surrounded by the life she'd built without him, he realized how hollow his empire felt. All the success, all the money, all the praise. None of it had filled the void that losing Emma had created. "I was wrong." The words felt inadequate, but they were true. "I was wrong about everything. I thought I had to choose between love and success. I thought I had to sacrifice everything personal to build something that mattered, but I built a company and lost a family. I want everything and have nothing." Emma wiped her eyes with the back of her hand, leaving a smudge of flour on her cheek. "Do you know what the hardest part was? Not the pregnancy alone or the labor with just my best friend holding my hand, or the sleepless nights with a colicky baby. It was watching her grow and seeing pieces of you in everything she does. The way she solves puzzles like they're mysteries to unravel. How she asks, 'But why?' About everything until I run out of answers. She has your brilliant, impossible mind, Marcus, and I loved you even more through her, which made me hate you even more for not being there. Let me be there now. He stepped closer, desperate. Please, I know I don't deserve it. I know I destroyed what we had, but she deserves a father, and I want to be the man I should have been 5 years ago. It's not that simple. I know. He cut her off gently. I know it's not. I know I can't walk in here and play dad and fix everything. But Emma, I'm asking for a chance. Not for us, I know I killed that. But for her. Let me know my daughter. Emma closed her eyes, wrestling with decisions that would reshape all their futures. When she opened them again, Marcus saw something he didn't expect. Not forgiveness. Not yet, but possibility. She asks about you sometimes, Emma said quietly. Not by name, she doesn't know your name. But she sees other kids with their dads at the park, and she asks why she doesn't have one. I tell her that her daddy lives far away, that it's complicated, that he doesn't know how special she is. I never told her you didn't want her, Marcus. I couldn't do that to either of you. The kindness in that admission broke something in him. She could have poisoned their daughter against him, could have painted him as a villain. But she'd chosen Grace instead. Emma had always been too good for him. He'd known it then, and it was confirmed now. Lily reappeared, bear claw in hand, looking uncertain. She approached Marcus cautiously, this stranger her mother was crying over. Are you really my daddy? Marcus knelt down to her level, and the resemblance was undeniable. She had his mother's eyes, his father's smile, the Chen family's distinctive eyebrows. I think I might be, he said softly. Would that be okay with you? She considered this with the seriousness of someone, deciding matters of great importance. Do you like cinnamon bear claws? I don't know. I've never tried one. She broke off a piece and offered it to him. This tiny gesture of acceptance that meant more than every business deal he'd ever closed. Try it. Mommy makes the best ones in the whole world. As Marcus tasted the pastry, as Lily smiled her gap-toothed smile, as Emma watched them with tears still glistening on her cheeks, something shifted in the universe. Not fixed, broken things aren't mended in a moment. But maybe, possibly, beginning to heal. The road ahead would be complicated. There would be difficult conversations. Lawyers, probably, schedules to coordinate, and trust to rebuild brick by brick. But in that small cafe, with rain drumming on the windows and the scent of coffee and cinnamon in the air, a family began to piece itself together from the fragments they'd each been carrying alone. Marcus had spent 5 years building an empire. Now, finally, he would learn to build something that actually mattered, a relationship with his daughter, and maybe if he proved himself worthy of her kindness, a path back to the woman who'd showed him what true strength looked like by raising their child alone while still protecting his memory. Some mistakes can't be undone, but with love, selflessness, and the innocent wisdom of a 4-year-old girl with cinnamon sugar on her fingers, maybe they could be transformed into something new. Not perfect, but real. Not easy, but worth every difficult step ahead.